Hello everybody. Welcome to Kate B channel. I'm here with you Saturday evening, weekend. I had a very crazy busy week. I couldn't go live. I think I haven't been live for the whole week or two. I don't even remember. I have such a big stress at work. So I take my weekends to recoup, to be with my family, to do something meaningful together. So today was a very fun event. We went to the theater. We went to the school theater to see my daughter was a part of a big production at the school theater, and we went to see the show. It was actually the Broadway musical Disney's Newsies. So we were very excited to go see the show. It only played from Thursday, I think from Wednesday to today. So they worked really hard. The kids worked really hard to put the show together. And we were just impressed and amazed with the production, with how talented all the kids are, how the crew put everything together. And we were amazed with the school resources, with the people who worked on the show. It's like really professional. I will probably make a little, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that for the copyright laws, but maybe for the fair use, I can only put a little short because I secretly filmed a little bit of the show. And it was amazing. The atmosphere, the stage, all the decorations on the stage, everything was so professional. So as a family, we had such a good time going to the school show, and there are more shows in future. So we're gonna go for Christmas show, and we're very proud of our daughter. She's a part of the technical crew backstage, and she's in charge of all the microphones. She's in charge of installations and moving stuff on the stage and out of the stage. So we're very proud of all kids who are so talented to be the artists, to think, to sing, to dance. And we're also proud of our teenager who is working hard for the past 2 weeks. She stayed at school after school until 9:30 to put the show together, to make sure everything works. And again, when we went to the show, it was, we were just amazed how professional it's done. There were no flops, no difficulties, no technical issues. So we were so proud of our school and all the kids who are in our school. I wanted to show you my dress. I just found myself, look at my dress. Can you hear me well? Look, ta-da! I love this dress. This dress makes me happy. So happy. So I just found myself having a very tough week at work, and on Tuesday I was about to lose it, but I also had Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday ahead of me. So Tuesday night was very miserable. I had like a little emotional breakdown because I had a very uncomfortable discussion with one of my coworkers. And I took it very personally to my heart, and I just didn't have a good mood. I was so down, my feelings were hurt, and of course I discussed this with my husband, and you know, he was my shoulder to cry on. And you know, times like that, you know, everywhere you work, even if you love your job, if you love your friendly atmosphere and environment at your job, things happen, you know. And if you're mature enough, you try not to get it into you, and you try to kind of like not to put too much of your emotions into like different conflicts or different situations. but I'm not the person. I'm not the person who follows what I preach sometimes. So Tuesday night was, I felt like really upset, really disturbed and miserable. So I'm so glad that I have my husband who's always willing to listen and calm me down and give me good advice. So I wanted to tell you today, I started the topic last time, like how different Pink Panther. Hi Pink Panther, welcome. Hi Kate. I'm reading, I can see your messages, so if you want to say hi. Okay, what happened at work? So last stream, I don't remember if it was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Last week, I started to talk about different jobs I had through my life. And I was thinking to myself, why don't I tell the stories about different experience at work environment? Because when you're young and you just started your career after you graduated from college, you might know things you know now, because now you have all this baggage of experience working in so many different places, so many different environments, so many different cultures, let's say. So I think it enriched me as a person, it enriched me as an employee, it enriched me in my personal growth. So I was thinking, instead of just telling you about my steps in my career, like instead of telling you just the places and jobs I worked, I wanted to tell you some stories from each job where I had a maybe not a conflict, but a difficult situation, and how it was resolved and how it shaped me up as a person. I thought it would be an interesting topic because looking back at that moment, I probably thought, oh, it's such a disaster. It's such a, crap going on to me. It's the end of the world. And I also was like very young, and I took things very personally, very seriously. And I thought it's like pretty much the end of the world and my reputation is ruined or something. But many years has passed. Like, let's say I started, to work. I told you I worked like as early as, I don't know, 10 or 12 years old. Different type of jobs, like not necessarily, in a real workplace, but worked with my family, worked helping my family out, or worked at the graveyard, as I told you in my previous stream video. But anyways, nowadays I thought that I'm mature enough to handle difficult situations, to handle conflicts and be much better at it, like just not to think much of it, just don't take it too close to my head. Guess what? No, in any particular case, it's so much different, and there isn't a reaction. Of course, I could probably have handled it differently. I didn't need to stress myself to like this, crying and bringing it home with me. I probably needed to just, sleep on it, let it go, not to take it personally, because how it was resolved down the road, that made me totally satisfied, and and it's something I can truly say I let it go now. So I'm not gonna bug me, I'm not gonna take it too personal, I'm not gonna let it bug me, I'm not gonna let it ruin my other great experiences at work. So what happened, that I had a very uncomfortable conversation from one of the co-workers, and I kind of felt that I just needed to justify something, but at the end of the day, it wasn't his place to, tell me things. He told me. So at the end of the day, I felt bad, not necessarily that he told me those things. I felt bad about myself, that I had to just level down and started to justify something, just started to be, telling where is my truth lays. And then later on, when I discussed it with my husband, he said, don't worry about it, calm down, you have nothing to worry about it, you didn't need to explain yourselves, just let it be, it's not on you, and just move on, and just keep it on your record, that some things are might not be like in your favor, but be about it. So later on, like on Wednesday in the morning, this coworker took his time and took his nerve to apologize to me. And I kind of thought to myself that I'm glad I didn't kind of like, I took the apologies and I just wanted to move on. I didn't want to blow this conflict out of proportions. I didn't want to blow it like more and stress myself even more for the rest of the week, because we still needed to do something as a team, and we're still doing the project, which is very important for me personally and professionally. So I just decided to, take the apologies, and I think everybody learned some kind of lesson. I learned the lesson that I shouldn't take it personally and like try to explain myself to people who might not know the full situation, and I should be above it and I should not take it personally. Definitely not stress about it, the situation, or not take it so emotional that I couldn't sleep and I couldn't eat or something like that. So I don't know if I look stressed for going to the theater. I put some makeup because it was always nice to see other parents and go to the school. It was a big event for us, and I wanted to dress up because when you're busy, when you go to work, you wear your work clothes and you just try to be comfortable. But on the weekend, like this kind of clothes is my happy clothes. I feel great in bright colors. It's always like hot outside. It's like over 90 degrees. So I feel so great about getting a chance to wear my beautiful dresses. And in those dresses, I feel like top notch. I feel great. So I feel pretty, I feel beautiful. So all my worries kind of go away, and I like weekends is my time to recoup and decompress. So anyways, I wanted to start from the jobs. Like I told you about the first office job from 2001. I probably worked in that company for about maybe 4 or 5 months, and I was translating something, setting up the business of car renting in the big city of Moldova, in Chisinau, where I'm from. But the next job, I was still looking for jobs, and I was still looking for different positions, but because I knew English, some companies, some private companies who had like connections with, foreign countries and other businesses outside of Moldova, they wanted somebody who speaks English. So that was my advantage, and I couldn't necessarily find the job in my field. Maybe you've heard before, my field of studies was human resources and sociology. So I can't really work because human resource departments, they didn't much exist in the firm. It was like a one-person job just to, maintain the documentation when the people get the job and that get hired. But it mostly it was a job of a secretary. So my next job in 2001, it was like I was thinking to myself, it was in 2001. It was spring. I found a job in a nice company who provided logistics, who provided them. It was a transportation company who provided to different vendors the railway service of the cargo of the different products that were shipped outside of Moldova, and also income into Moldova for different companies, for plants, for like big stores, or it's hard to say, like all kind of cargo, all kind of loads that would be imported and exported from Moldova. So I was hired as a secretary, a person who is in charge of fax machine, and person who is in charge of phone calls, answering phone calls, referring the phone calls to the managers, and managers were the one who provided them the fee schedule, who were looking up how much would the transportation cost and stuff like that. And then part of my job was to fax all documentation to the railway authorities. So railway take care of the, literally loading and unloading different types of cargo. So was really excited to work for that company, but it wasn't, I was really excited. And it was back in the day when you work as a secretary, you're the first person who people see when they come to the door. And of course, I like the idea to dress up. I like the idea to look presentable every day. I would wear, nice clothes, like high heels and everything like that. And I was very social, I was very cheerful. And part of the secretary's job, if you may remember back in the day, and again, we're speaking 2001, we are speaking 2001. So it's like roughly 22 years ago. And part of my job was to serve coffee, tea to the people who come in to talk to the big boss. And also it was interesting because my big boss was a guy whose wife was working in the same company right there. And his wife was an accountant, so he was a big person there too. So I was kind of like trying to be nice to her and try to be nice to him. They were super nice people. They took care of us as workers for this company, because I'll tell you later, like I started there in spring. And what I loved about it, I don't even remember how much they paid me, but what I loved about my job, they gave us, they had an agreement with the local restaurant to provide lunches for us. And lunches were free, completely free. But the local restaurant, the food was like not too fancy. Food was very regular, Moldovan style, like home style food. But again, it was a big deal because you're working for the company, you have an hour break, you have like here it's unheard of. It's I don't know, like where I'm working now, nobody pays for your lunch. You have to bring your own lunch from home, or you have to go out to pay out of pocket for your lunch. But anyways, I always liked the idea. I was the person, like, if you give me free food, I can work for free food. I don't know why. I wasn't overweight or anything. I was always chubby. I thought so. If you go 52 kilograms at 22 chubby, back in the day, yeah, I wasn't model. I wasn't model body. I was considered by those standards from 90s. I was considered a bit chubby girl. But anyways, now I totally laugh about it because at 52 kilos, I looked perfectly fine. I wore pretty clothes. But anyways, what's funny about it that this company provided lunches, and I loved it because the restaurant, you can have like 4-course meal. You could have like you could have a salad, you could have a soup, you could have a main course, and you can have a dessert and even a drink. And of course, there was a whole hour, and it was like very convenient to go with your colleagues or just by yourself. But anyways, it was funny because at the time I had a boyfriend who worked like nearby, and his office was nearby. So I always was telling him, you can come and eat with me because this is a great meal, a big meal. And whatever they pay for your meal, like whether you eat it or not, nobody sees how much you eat. So he would come and he would eat with me for free. And it's funny because one meal would cover 2 people. And it was pretty cool that I not only ate my lunch by myself, I also had a little date during my lunch break, so I can hang out with my boyfriend and feed him. Anyways, he was a jerk later on, so we're not gonna go that story. That's a completely different story about the boyfriend. But it was like why I'm telling that I love to work for that firm, because it was like in a nice center of the town, and you can go anywhere. And our managers took good care of us. Like in summer, Moldova is very famous for seasonal vegetables, fruits, berries and stuff. So starting in May, May, June, July, when the fresh vegetables and fruits were in season, the driver of the manager, like the big boss, the owner of the firm had a personal driver, and this personal driver would go to the market and would buy fruits and vegetables for all the stuff. Like it was probably 12 of us in one office, maybe hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10, maybe 9 or 10 people in the whole office. But anyways, maybe 10. Yeah, maybe 10 people. And the driver would go and buy those big bags of fresh berries, fresh fruit. And a part of my job as a secretary was to wash it and set it on the plates and like just, you know, set it on the table so everyone can eat like nice fruits and vegetables. And also sometimes they would send me like during the work hours, I'm not kidding, besides like doing my little, you know, like my little things, I had to plant the no, I have to water the plants, and I had to do fax, and I had to do like answering phones and like basic secretary duty. But I also made coffee and tea and to the visitors and just like that. So sometimes when we were like really slow, bored, my the manager, like the manager's wife, he wasn't the manager, he was an owner's wife, the lady owner, she would send me to the fancy bakery. And let me tell you, when you go to the like local bakery, oh my gosh, it's like French bakery, all kinds of like beautiful desserts were there. So she would send me there, paying for everybody's treat. So I would take about like 15 minutes to walk to the beautiful bakery, and I would buy everything. People would order what they like, and I would bring it back to the office, and that's how we have tea and coffee, and like on a slow day we would eat all this fun stuff. So I stayed there over the summer, and it was my birthday in August, and I was so pleased because I've been only working there for about less than a year. But anyways, on my birthday, the first year when I got there, they threw me like a fancy, nice breakfast, and I had to bring some food. I think I ordered some food, and I also brought some. I think I brought, yeah, I brought food. You know, back in the day when you work in the office and it's your birthday, they don't feed you, you feed them. So I had to bring something, and I remember my dad helped me carry all food. I think I cooked some food, and I ordered some food because, you know, we ordered like some pastries or some Moldovan dough. They're like similar to empanadas, they're similar to bread, like bread rolled with something inside. So I ordered those from somewhere, from a bakery too, and I brought a lot of fruits. But anyways, the gift they gave me, during my birthday, it was a day, and it was a random day. Let's say it was a Wednesday, and we were allowed to drink. You know, can you imagine here in the United States during the lunch break, you put a spread on the table, you open champagne, you open all kinds of wine, and people drink at work. If it's somebody's birthday, you drink at work. Nothing wrong with that in Moldova. So they threw me like a beautiful, gorgeous celebration. I think I was turning 25. Yeah, I was turning 25, and it was like, you should realize in Moldova, if you're turning 25 or 30, if it's like 5-year mark, it's a big deal. It's like jubilee, you know. It's like it's a big date. If it's 5 or if it's 0 at the end. So 25 was pretty big for me. And what was amazing about this, you know, company, that they as a present, they gave me a very nice perfume. They gave me like a French perfume because the owners, they traveled a lot, so they went to Europe, and I knew that this like particular back in the day we were afraid of knockoffs, because in the local markets you could buy like not an authentic perfume. There were a lot of knockoffs which were cheap, but these people brought me like a real perfume from France. And it was such a big deal to me. So imagine your coworkers here. I'm just laughing because, you know, here we just do a little, I don't know, we bring donuts, or we at our job we only give like a little card from everybody signs a card, but we don't do much here. People don't usually celebrate. Maybe it depends on the office, but the office I work for, we don't really celebrate the birthday. People like to be private. People are not allowed to drink at work or have big parties. If you want to have a party, you probably can invite people to go out later in the like after hours, but at work we're not like that friendly. But imagine in Moldova, it was normal. It was normal. People would give you gifts, and you would put a spread on the table. You drink during the work hours. Anyways, I love that place to work. And after this big birthday celebration, I was promoted. I think maybe later, a couple of months later, I was promoted to a manager of logistics. Like you have to find, like there was a computer, it was a database where you find how much those transportation services will cost, and you use a special system, you use a special table to figure out how much it costs, and you have like to write a little proposal. So you work directly with the clients trying to sell those transportation services. And I was so lucky that, you know, back when they make you manager, you have to hire a replacement. So when they hired the replacement, I was really happy to be on the committee to pick a right person. So we picked a nice girl who was very nice. I remember she kind of replaced me in being a secretary, but she was very sweet. She was younger than me, and she was very sweet. And what I like about that, they allowed me, because I only worked there like maybe 6 months or maybe a little more than 6 months, but I was so proud of myself. They trusted me enough to hire a new person, and because they promoted me, my salary was a little more. I don't remember really how much I made, but anyways, listen to that story. So something started to be not really good. Like I wasn't a good manager, and the owner, the director, he wasn't very happy with my numbers. You know, like you always have to make so many clients in a week or something. You have to sell so many services, and other people were there like for 5 years or 10 years, so they knew exactly what they were doing, and they didn't want to share their clients with me. And you know, like you're young, you're 25, and I didn't plan to work in that industry. I didn't plan to sell transportation services. I had no clue how to do it, and I didn't understand that mentality. So I have to call people. I had to maneuver with the fees and stuff like that. I had to know the client needs, and I didn't know that industry, you know, and they just throw you there. They just show you the system. They just show you how you can find those railway fees. And you can imagine I had to know like how many train cards they needed for this cargo, So it was very basic training, but at 25, you know, it wasn't my field of study. And of course, I wasn't doing a good job. Like maybe I had like 2 clients a week or something, and I didn't make as much in sales like other people did. And I worked with this interesting lady. Like she was older than us, but she was super nice. She would help me sometimes. She would sometimes tell me, oh, I'll ask that client to talk through you. So maybe she kind of tried to help me out. She wasn't, back in the day, like people were not, like she knew she's not going anywhere. She was a connection, you know. She was, her husband used to be a big friend with the owner, and because she was sitting there so many years, she wouldn't go anywhere. So she can kind of had a way to help me out because she liked me, but at the end of the day, you know, she wanted to do her numbers, her sales. So maybe in March, like I only stayed there for a year, because in March or April, like nothing comes out, and I'm like sitting there and I'm stressing. And one day the owner calls me in the room, like in his office, and he tells me, we need to let you go. And that was the first time. And you know, it's always hard when it's first time. You're just in the beginning of your career. You just graduated college like a couple of years ago. The economy is so bad. Like you should believe, everything is like so rough. The job market is rough there. Like what you gonna do? How you gonna? And of course I don't have bills, because I still live with my parents. Like I still live with my dad. My mom passed away already back then. So I'm pretty much alone. I only need to like help with the bills, like the water bill, maybe the electricity bill. I don't have a rent. Back in the day, at least I don't have a rent, but I make some money because I want to buy my own clothes. I buy my own groceries. I buy, you know, I'm a young girl. I want to go out. I want to spend money maybe doing something fun on the weekend. So this is the first time after college when I got fired, when they let me go. And now I'm smiling, now I'm smiling because so many years has passed and I am remembering it from that mature age. I'm remembering that experience. I have two viewers. I just wanted to stop and thank you. Thank you and tell you thank you, my two viewers. Thank you so much for sticking with me and listening to my stories. It means a lot to me. So I don't know if those are very interesting stories, but at least, you stick in and you listen in, and I really, really appreciate you as my viewers. Anyways, so now I'm smiling because I'm thinking to myself, I haven't gone through firing experience here in the United States. So that tells you something. That tells you something about my ethic, about my how well I do the job, about my skills, about my abilities, about my knowledge. Here I feel valued, and here I feel protected, and here in this current job I feel like they won't let me go. They won't let me go because if I go, nobody can, anyways, but back in the day when you're 25 and the market is so bad, the economy is so bad, you live in a poor country, you don't work, you don't use your specialty, you just can't find anything. But listen to that. So, and he tells me, I liked you as a secretary. You were so good as a secretary. You were so nice being, an office admin. But when you gave your job a manager, you just don't have you're not a salesperson. You don't have enough experience. You don't know how to talk to clients, so they take you seriously. Some people don't take me seriously nowadays when I'm 47, when I'm a mature woman, and I'm big and I'm like, I can give you face, I can be straightforward, I can be like, some people don't take me seriously even now, but imagine me at 25. So of course, like people who were buying transportation services, of course they would say, who is this girl? How we can trust her? How we can trust she sells us like a good transportation service, and she knows the logistic, and she counted the right, like the right fee to get the cargo transported from Moldova, like outside of the country and stuff like that. So, and my boss told me in my face, we really, really loved you as an administrator of the office. Like, you were so nice making coffees and teas. And I felt so bad about myself, It just crushed me. But instead of just firing me, they gave me, I think they paid me like my, like the money they owe you for your vacation. I think they paid me my vacation money that I didn't use, and they were super nice to me because they gave me a lot of souvenirs from their company. They gave me like nice bottles of cognac and wine that were specially made for the company I worked for. And the main thing, he told me he can hire me back as a administrator or secretary, office admin or whatever, because we already had that girl and she was wonderful there, and he just let me go. But he doesn't hold any grudges or anything. If I ever need a reference, I can call him and I can come visit and stuff. So imagine he fires me, and imagine I go and I like stressed about it. Like for 2 or 3 weeks I was just crying, I was crushed. I thought, that's it, that's the end of my career. I'll never be a good I'll never be a good person, so people take me seriously, that I have this great education. And I started to kind of undermine my abilities to, back in the day when you have education from a certain college, it still looks good on your resume because that was a state school. Academy of Economic Studies, it grew out of the Department of Economics in the local state university. It grew into a separate institution. It grew into a separate big school of higher education. So it grew into Academy of Economic Studies that had a lot of different departments, and my department was just, still developing, and it was hard to find something. The main reason I was in that field because my education was free. A lot of people who studied with me from 94 to 99, they already had to pay. They had a system where they had to pay for their education every year. And my education was free because it was, I was entering, I was doing like an entrance exam. And it was a big deal for me. I thought it was a very prestigious school, college back in the day. And not having a job, it kind of always felt like a failure. And at 25, you know, back in where I'm from, if you don't have a job and you're not married, you know, people look at you like a loser. You know, if I meet my college friends and they would ask you, oh, you're not married, you don't have a kid yet, oh my gosh, something wrong with you. Or, oh, you don't have a job, like, oh, you're not working in nowhere, it's a failure, you're a loser. And you always feel this peer pressure. You always feel that constant pressure that you're a big loser. Hi, third viewers. Thank you for being with me. I'm talking about my work experiences and how to react to difficult situations and how to move on and how to use it as your experience to be wise, to take things into perspective, not to stress, not to feel like you're a complete like failure or something. Anyways, so they let me go, and it was probably beginning of 2002. Sorry, I needed a drink. So back to the story, and they let me go, but because, you know, I don't have a job, and I try to send my resume and I look for places to be hired, and it was 2002. I get a job in a small firm, and I was a part of 3 secretaries, and we had to translate. And that guy was an older guy, and his business was a lot of boutiques, a lot of different little stores in the local how you call them, торговый центр. Well, you call them like big department stores. They just started to pop up everywhere. So my job was to translate some paperwork, like translate the documentation for the customs, for the border. And also because there were 3 of us, 3 girls, we were about the same age, we would chat and we go for coffee and we go for a smoke. Anyways, I worked there for probably 2 months. And I don't know what the reason they fired me, because they didn't fire me quite, like I didn't like working there that much, because I felt like I didn't have enough to do. And, you know, sometimes you go and you just sit there, you go, you know, you don't do much, you do your part, and then you just sit there and you don't make good money, and you don't have the fulfilling career, you don't have a feeling like, what you doing there? Just serving tea and coffee to the guy and just, you know, answering the phone. That was like, it was like, I started to think that it wasn't the job I wanted. It's like, wasn't a fulfilling career, because this firm doesn't treat you like they didn't buy us lunch, or they didn't do anything extra for us. And I still, it was in the same area where the other company was. So I used to go like, sometimes like I leave earlier from work and I stop in my other office, you know, and I talk to people and they're like, oh, how I miss you. And they also would invite me, they even invited me for their big holiday party, I think. Yeah, they invited me for the big holiday party or something. Don't know. They invited me for March 8th. March 8th. Do you remember March 8th, like Women's Day? Yeah. They invited me for their party for March 8th. So I used to go to the company. But imagine you got fired from a place, but you still can go there. You don't burn bridges. You still talk to the people you worked with. And I remember, like, of course it was a big crush, you know, but I couldn't say anything because they treated me well. They said, we love you, we're still gonna keep in touch and give you good references, and they did, you know. They invited for their parties, and we used to go there. I had no offense, I had no problem to kind of be in touch with them. So I briefly worked for that other company, maybe 2 or 3 months, and then the whole summer, in 2000, it was already 2002. So the whole summer, I was asked to work in a nanny and some family, but it's again, it's totally different story. And the family paid me $100 a month, which is like okay money. But again, after being in college, after getting this nice education from prestigious schools, I didn't want to be a nanny forever. I was looking for the opportunities to work for the real office environment. And then, you know, I said, it's a summer, you can take things a little easy when you're a nanny, because you know you live in you pretty much go, you take care of the kid, and you kind of like in the family. You feel like you get along with the family, they feed you, you can stay like overnight there if you need to, or you go with the kid for a walk, and you pretty much live like in your own house. It's not the office environment. So you kind of, I thought to myself, well, it's summer, they pay me $100, I can survive with this money, and they can take easy over the summer. And while I'm taking it easier, because I'm a babysitter, I can still apply for jobs. I can still look for the jobs. So I still apply for some, you know, I still send resumes, and I apply for some companies or firms. So that was the summer, and that summer I broke up with my boyfriend. And that summer, you know, that year was like really rough for me. Like at one, like you got fired first of all, and you thought to yourself, oh, you're not a good manager. Then you got dumped. You know, like that was a very heartbreaking. How should I say it? That was a very, very heartbreaking breakup. That was like, oh my gosh, it was like insane. And I thought, what's wrong with this year? What's wrong? Like 2002 was like a year of failure, you know. And you think to yourself, you're like you're 26, right? And it's like almost the age when everybody get married, like or get married, having kids, having good jobs, start their career. And I'm like a failure. I was, you know, I was very good. I always very good on top of my class at school, at college, and I was, you know, I was expecting from myself to be successful. So in my book, there was no room for being a failure. So I was really hard on myself. I didn't understand that was my back in the day. I didn't understand, like, if you had the chance to fool around, you were not bombarded with the bills, you could survive on the money you made, like here and there. That was the life, you know. But back in the day, I didn't understand it. Like, I was so focused on giving it 100% to my career, working, making money, getting experience. So listen to that. I started to go to the interviews, and you're gonna be shocked what I'm gonna tell you right now. So this company, it's called British American Tobacco. And you probably know, back in the day, in 90s and like beginning of 2000, even now in Europe, people smoke. So I was a smoker. I smoked, but I smoked socially. I didn't smoke every day, I didn't buy cigarettes every day. I only smoked because, like, it was a way to socialize. Like, everybody during the break at any firm you work for, they go for a smoke, you know, they have a coffee and they smoke, blah, blah, blah. It was a day to connect, it was a way to connect with people, smoking, you know. So, and back in the day, it wasn't that awful like we know it now. Now smoking is like, we know it's really bad for your health. It's you. In the United States, I don't remember. I wasn't here when people smoke inside the restaurant, but back where I'm from, people smoke inside the restaurants. When you're eating or you're sitting outside having coffee, everybody smoke. So I was a smoker. And here's this big company, British American Tobacco. So they have like management, like, it's a foreign company. It has a big subsidiary in the Republic of Moldova, because the Republic of Moldova had the production of tobacco too, and because of British we call British American Tobacco or something, BVT. Yeah. Because this company was huge, it was like expanding, and it came to Eastern Europe to sell, like like the market was huge. And remember those cigarettes? I even remember how they were called. They were called Benson and Hedges. So And I really wanted to work for that company. And somebody told me that they're hiring, blah, blah, blah. So I find that ad, which is in English, and I see that everything they require, like an admin assistant or something, an office assistant or something like that, or a secretary. So I really want to go there. So I make this like beautiful resume. I cut my hair. I don't remember. Yeah, I probably cut my hair and I do everything to look good. I had some like outfits. I used to go to the back in the day when you go for the interview, you have to dress up professionally, and I had some outfits that made by a lady tailor. She was a real good in making clothes. And back in the day, if you don't find something, anyways, I had this beautiful suit. It was pantsuit, and it has like I had a nice like white blouse underneath. So I go to the place, American Tobacco. Well, I'm young and I can speak English, maybe not fluently, but good enough to understand, that I'm going to work for foreign companies. If I come across like Americans or British people or something, I'm able to have a conversation. And my first language is Russian. And the third language they require is Romanian. Because Moldova used to be a part of Soviet Union, but when the Soviet Union collapsed, Moldova got independency, and the language started to be, instead of Moldovan, it started to be a Romanian language. And Romanian language has Latin alphabet. And I could understand it, but I couldn't speak it fluently. I spoke a little bit, and I can understand it freely, but I always had trouble speaking Romanian. But my major strength was English. So I'm like hoping, okay, I go. So I go to that interview, and there is this lady who is like older than me, but she speaks Romanian and English, and she said she prefers to give me an interview in English because she wants to know how is my English. And I know she's capable of speaking Romanian to me or Russian, but she prefers to speak English. And of course I try to speak English, and I comply, and I'm very pleasant. I tell her about my other experiences, how after school I had to find different jobs, and I worked with some people to be a babysitter, but I'm not ashamed of this job because I could learn my English real good through them. And I had a job as a translator in a couple of different firms, and I had a job as a secretary, and I had a job as a manager. Of course I didn't tell her I was fired from managerial position, but anyways. So what is interesting, I'm going to tell you about this interview experience, that she asks me during the interview. Just imagine this question in the United States. She asks me, by the way, do you smoke? And you coming to work for British American Tobacco. If you don't believe in tobacco, you better not be there, But back in the day, everybody smokes. It's not a big deal. So yes, I smoke tobacco. And what I could say, I said, yes. Of course, my parents didn't know I smoked, but anyway, it's a different story. Nobody kind of knew, like I kind of did it with the people at work, or the people that, it was maybe no, people knew. But now I think now I will be ashamed if somebody knows I'm smoking. Now I'll be really ashamed. But back in the day, nobody was ashamed. Like, everybody smoked. Anyways, during the interview, this lady asked me if do I smoke? And I'm like, oh yeah, I smoke, and like, she says, okay, what do you smoke? And back in the day, remember this like little thin, tiny cigarettes? I don't even remember what they were called. Like in the white, they were like really thin and white. But because I'm British American Tobacco, of course, I need to know their brands. I'm smart enough. And I say, oh, I smoke those, like Benson and Hedges. They were called Benson and Hedges. Like, I don't remember. Maybe they still have them now, but they are so gross. So she said, okay, if you smoke, I'm going to bring some and we're going to smoke. Oh my gosh, people were sitting in the interview in the office. I'm wearing this fancy pantsuit, like with a nice white blouse. I don't remember. I didn't put a lot of makeup back then because, I didn't need so much makeup. I didn't even have good makeup. I didn't even have foundation back in the day. I only used like mascara and like the lip gloss or the lip and a little bit probably the blush, but I didn't use foundation. Back in the day, I didn't even need to use anything. Anyways, here we are. The lady who is giving me the interview, she she brings the cigarettes, like three different kind on a tray. So instead of tea or coffee or whatever, she brings me that tray with the cigarettes and she makes me smoke. Oh my gosh. If I tell the story now to Americans, they're in awe, you know, it's like, it's crazy here. Like, it's crazy to make a person smoke during an interview just to prove that she's in that industry because she supports smoking tobacco. And now it's like, do you know how it comes across? It's like literally they make you eat like drink alcohol at work or like do drugs at work or something. But anyways, she made me smoke. And we sit there and like we smoke and she keeps talking to me. And for me, it was okay back then, you know. I thought I'm doing a good impression, but can you imagine now? We came such a long way, and I'm so glad that smoking is a bad habit here, and that the culture here is like, smoking is bad, it's bad for your health, just like move on, just, you know, just stay away, stay from it, stay away from it. Bad. But anyways, we sit there and you would ask me, did she hire me because I could smoke? No, it didn't help. It didn't help at the end of the day because, you know, we sit there, we smoke and we talk. And she said, I want to see how's your Romanian. So she started, instead of English, she starts to speak with me in Romanian. And she would ask me questions. And she would see that in Romanian, I have a little more difficulty speaking it fluently than I spoke English. So even I smoke, even I don't smoke, at the end of the day, she told me, thank you for the interview. Thank you for smoking with me. No, she didn't say that, but you know, imagine, that was my experience for looking for a job. So I go home and I don't hear from them. They don't hire me. And I tell everybody, like, do you know, like, I went for the interview there. And I was so proud because, you know, like, even if you go for the interview, even if you have interview with a foreign company, that was a big deal. You know, that was something that you got noticed, you know, like your resume stood out. Well, like, and now I use the story because it's a fun story. It's an experience going in the interview and proving that you can smoke. Okay, moving on. So I didn't get the job in British American Tobacco. And the next company I go has a big store for the construction materials. And this big store, they need a person, they need somewhere a coordinator, like a helper to the accountant and the helper for the, it's not an HR, yes, similar to HR, like a secretary duty that will fill in the people's employment records, that will fill people's employment, like that will help the accountant to do the, to disburse the salaries and stuff like that. So they needed the person, pretty much like office admin, who does like a lot of small jobs, answer the, if I need to help in the store, I would help in the store. I would sit in the back office and help like managers to, you know, get their documentation. Like the managers, the marketing guys, they were going around. I had to provide the marketing materials, and I had to kind of like be sort of a dispatcher, letting people know where they go, like to, you know, to bring the materials to, like, they go to the different, you know, firms to deliver those materials. And like when they hire you, like, you can imagine when they hire you back in the day, they want you to do all kinds of jobs. They don't hire you just to be a secretary. They just explain to you, oh, it's some kind of like administrative, like office work to help with this and this. So when they hire you, you don't sit there and just answer the phone. You are a person of different hats, you know, like you, like people say here, you wear different hats. So you go, and whatever they tell you, they tell me to help to the, like, to give help to the accountant. So I sit there with the accountant and she tells me what to do. They tell me to help with the like managers, like they tell me to help with the dispatching. They help me to maintain like the register at the store when the cash register people are sick. So I could do cash register because my first education, before I got to my 5-year college, I had like a little little like community college, like a degree, a 1 year degree for a cash register person, for like salesperson. But that's a different story. It's the first time when I didn't get into the university the first year after high school. I didn't get accepted to the university I wanted to go, so I had to study for a year to be a cashier. So when I was hired at this construction firm, I was hired maybe like end of August, beginning of September, something like that. It was already fall, and fall is not a nice no, fall is not a nice season. At the beginning it's nice. October, September, October is nice, but November started to get like rainy and cold and depressing, and then winter starts to get really rough. And this company was far away, so I had to take like a trolley bus or like a like minivan to get to my place of work, and it took me every day like 40 minutes to get to work and go from work. So that was job, like that was okay job. And because there were a lot of young employees, there were a lot of young guys employees, I really liked it. Like you can imagine, I just went from break up with my boyfriend, and I kind of like got out of my, like like broken heart situation, and all of a sudden I come to the firm where like every day I see tons of boys and men, like I say boys, like, why do I say boys, like young people, like young guys, probably like in their early 20s and maybe like up to 30-year-old. And I'm like here, 26-year-old. What you want? You want to be there. You want to like, flirt with everybody. So back in the day where we from, it was perfectly fine to flirt at work. It was perfectly fine to hook up with anybody at work. Here it's like taboo. It's no, you don't do that, and you know that. But back where we're from, like I tell you, 26, if you see somebody nice at work, why not? And they bring me chocolates, they bring me this and this, they give me signs of attention, and it takes you out of whatever like your broken heart is, and you kind of see hope. You think to yourself, well, I'm still in demand, I still can hook up with somebody. So I like that guy, but he was married, and like I kind of flirt with him, he flirts back, but it's nothing. So at work, like I hope for romance. I kind of, yeah, because I was brokenhearted for like 3 or 4 months. Like enough is enough. So you want to move on. So that job, I like the job, not because, like they made me do whatever, like office work. Who cares? You answer the phone, you dress up, you sound like cheerful. People like you, you're social, people like you. Like other ladies who I worked with, you go with them for lunch or for smoke, they like you just because you're not sitting there and being like mean or like too cool for them. Just because you're like okay, So listen to that. This story takes a turn. So this story takes a turn because it was the end of 2022. It was again rough winter. I've been going through a lot, and this job was okay. It kind of paid my bills. I didn't make much, but I started to think about something else. And here I am meeting somebody who tells me that there is that opportunity, or somehow I hear about that opportunity that's called au pair. When the girls from different countries, they go to foreign countries to be nannies, to live with the family, to help with the kids, to live with the host families in their houses in different countries. You can go to Germany. A lot of girls like went to Germany, close area. But because I wanted to go to the United States, I had friends in the United States, and by that time my sister immigrated in 2002. So everybody want to go somewhere. So I hear that, and I have my English, and I say, okay, I need to look it up, this program. So I started to look up that program, and while I'm still working this little firm, having fun. So I'm looking up at that program, and around like November, December, I'm applying, and I'm like finding the company who provides you like logistics organization of that, but you have to pay. So usually for other, like I had a friend, she was from Germany, and when she came to the United States, she didn't pay anything. Everything was paid by the host family. But this firm take advantage of you because you're a small country. You don't necessarily have database to work with families directly. This company take advantage of you. They try to make you an au pair, but they have their own fees for that. So they provide you a service, they hook you up with a company who finds you a host family, but they charge you for the paperwork, they charge you for application, they charge you for the whatever logistics support. So they charged me $700. But remember, I told you back in the day, I saved a lot of money. When I was a nanny, I kind of saved money. So I always had I always had about 2,000 somewhere stashed away. So 700, I said to myself, well, 700 I can afford. So I paid the $700, which is insane money. You can imagine I only make about 100 every month, but 700 was a big chunk of money from my savings to put towards that au pair program. But I wanted to go so badly. So I don't say anything at work. I keep doing my behind the scenes. I go to work every day. I'm doing my job. I never tell them my plans to go to the United States or anything. I'm just doing my job, being there, being pleasant, making my money from 8 to 5, going home and doing my thing. So that was November, December. So I placed this application and I'm sitting there and trying to see if they ever call me. So next year, it was 2003, and in February they're calling me. Oh, they call me, we found your family. Some family picked you on resume. Some families saw your pictures and saw your resume and saw your, I need all the paperwork, recommendation letters. I needed to do the whole physical medical exam. They had to find that I don't have all these diseases, that I don't have this tuberculosis, that I don't have hepatitis C or something. So I had to provide all this big stash of paperwork. They were choosing healthy people, and the reason was I was trying to do it that year because the program was only up until 27, and I was already 26 years old. So I only had the chance to get into the family that year, because if I would turn 27 in 2003, I wouldn't be able to be an au pair anymore. So are you still there? Thank you, my dear viewers. You're still there with me when I'm talking and telling my stories about my career opportunities and how I handle difficult situations. Anyway, so I really want to go to the United States to be a nanny, and that's my dream. I said, well, I go, and that's going to be for the whole year, and I speak English, and I'll be living in a family. Everything is covered. I'll be pretty much like a tourist, but I will be working and making some money. Back in the day, the money wasn't huge factor for me, but going to the States, imagine going to the States, being illegal, going for a year, being on a legal status, having a visa to be in the States, to live in a family and be a nanny, that was a dream job. So in February, the family calls me. Oh my gosh, I think they called me very early, in February, maybe February 10th. And they call me and they say, we have an interview on the phone. So the family calls me and they tell me, we have a newborn, and we have a 15-month-old. Would you like to come and be a nanny for us? And we're like this and this. And I just over the phone, I'm like, yes, I'm the best that ever happened to you. I'm willing to go jump. Just take me to the States. Oh my gosh, I was so naive. Well, I was so naive, but I was very interested, and obviously I said the right things, and I was willing to do anything, just take me. And when they tell me about these kids, what do I know about babies? I already babysat 3 kids, and 3 kids who are in their 20s now, and all the 3 kids I babysat
They're doctors. They're like in their 20s. So I remember them being babies and now they're doctors. So anyways, I go to the United States because I really, really love that first family. They called me and they keep asking, do you want to come? We live in Kansas City. What I don't know about Kansas City? Kansas City, Missouri. What a boring place to be. Anyways, I'm 26 years old. It's my last chance this year to get this au pair program up to 27. I'm already old for being a nanny. You should realize, but 27 girls from Moldova married, having husbands, having kids, and I'm here. I'm like free. No boyfriend, lives with my father, making like little money. Like I'm don't you know, so what should I do? I should go explore new opportunities. So that's how I my first time how I go to the United States. Anna Kurvatova, hi, what happened? Pink Panther, what happened? Anna Kurbatova. So first time I come to the United States when I'm 2003, when I'm 26 years old, and I'm becoming a nanny in the family in Kansas City. So I'm going to, first they're taking you to a special school in New York where you spend a week where they teach you all the child care. So that was a big company. And nowadays they have these companies who bring foreigners to be nannies in the family. So that's a huge business. The families probably pay $13,000 a year, like thousand per month. If you think about it, hiring a nanny for two people and live-in nanny for some people is cheaper than putting kids to the daycare. So having an au pair was a very good business for families and for the au pairs too, because they come from all over the world. Some people just want to see the country, some people want to learn the language, the culture, and that was a great opportunity. So first time I came to the United States, I was 26, and I came to Kansas City. It was Kansas City, Missouri. I was so excited. First, we came to New York and we stayed on campus of the university. I don't even remember what was the university like which campus we stayed, but that school it rented some dorms during the it was March, and during the time we had to go to like childcare course, and this course was provided by the firm who brought au pairs from all over the world. They explained to us a little bit about the culture. They explained to us what the expectations of the family are, how we should behave. They even teach us about like child development, and they even taught us like about childhood diseases, and they even taught us about like all kind of viruses and like diseases that can be what we can deal with. So we stayed in that school for about a week after we arrived to the United States. And what was interesting, I should go back a little bit, because from Moldova it was very hard to, like, this company, they provided you a family, they provided you invitation, they provided you support by this organization who brought au pairs. But to receive your visa to go to United States, Moldovan people had to receive the visa, and that was a big part of the process, because a lot of people were not allowed to go. They wouldn't get the visas. And back in the day, I was very lucky. I was very fortunate, because the guy, the consular at the American Embassy, he knew my sister in person. Before my sister immigrated to the United States, she used to work for American Embassy, and she worked in the consular services. And this guy, the consular of the United States, he knew my sister in person. So when he saw my last name and he asked me the questions, he knew I was my, he knew he worked with my sister. And he would tell me, this is a very special visa. I should be aware that in 1 year I have to come back to the country. I can't stay there in the United States illegally. That will be a big deal, blah, blah, blah. But he gave me my visa, and I was so happy. I remember the day I got my visa. It was probably like end of February, and I was so excited because people were denied. If you don't have strong ties to your country, they can tell you have immigration intentions. They wouldn't give you visa. They wouldn't give young people visa. If I don't have a kid, if I don't have a family, they just don't allow you to travel. They just don't want you here because you're gonna stay and you're gonna be a legal immigrant. They just don't want that. But I was so fortunate. I was so lucky. What year was that? 2003. 2003, yeah. And this company, they give you support logistics, you know, they find you a family, but they say it's up to your own risk. So there were girls within my group from Moldova who didn't get visa because the consulate said, nope, we don't give many people visas. And because he knew my sister and he knew that my sister wouldn't allow me to stay here legally, she would just say, no, it's like you're gonna mess up like the whole thing, just go back. So I was so fortunate. So here I am coming to the United States, and because the process, like I wanted to go to the States so badly. Was it a student visa? Yes, it was F1, F1. Oh my gosh. Was so strict, like it was like literally 1 year. Some people, like later on, a couple of years later in 2006, they were allowed people to stay 2 years, but for my year I only allowed to stay 1 year, and I wouldn't be able to stay 2 years because I was already turning 27 in 2003 in August, so I could only come up to 27. If I would turn 27, that was too late. They wouldn't accept nannies like 27-year-olds. I guess it's maybe there was a rule because I came in it as well in 1997. Oh wow, Julia, what a great story. 1997. Was it easy to get your visa? Because it was a nightmare. Like a lot of people would tell, like from the countries, from Ukraine, from Moldova, from Russia, like all the like Eastern Soviet bloc, it wasn't really easy to get visa. A lot of girls would stay and don't come back, but I did come back. So I did my best not to stay here legally. I had like a slight chance to stay here, but it's another story. Again, it's a love story, but anyways, was not easy. Yeah, you understand me. To get a visa to the United States in 2003, or like you say 1997, it almost was like winning a lottery. It's like a jackpot. And even now, some countries I realize, like I take it for granted because now I'm like American citizen, but even now, I came from Belarus. Oh, I see. Yeah, it was hard. But even now, people go and it's like a lottery. They can be denied for any stupid reason. Moldova is a very small country, very small. But we already had cases when the girls on au pair program, they wouldn't come back. And they have that statistics, and that statistic says out of 10 girls, only 3 coming back. And this statistics is really bad. So the more girls come in for au pair, they didn't do anything wrong, but they get punished because other girls didn't come back. So the consulate had to decide. And again, it was pure luck. It was pure like I always told that my sister did such a good job not burning bridges with the people she worked. She loved those people. She kept in touch with them, even if they changed, they come work at the embassy and they go. She kept in touch with everybody. She always was like very, very good employee. So when she moved to the United States, she told me, you're not gonna undermine my reputation by staying here illegally. She wouldn't allow that, and I wouldn't do anything bad to allow myself to stay here legally. So anyways, in 2003, I go. I'm 26, and I'm going to a family. The lady was maybe 32 or 33. She has these 2 babies. And I come to the family, and I'm 26, but I'm very naive. I'm scared. I don't know this culture. I'm scared of everything. I'm scared to touch their food. I'm scared to have, like, I don't know. But in 1 year, let me tell you, this was an amazing year. The cultural shock was insane. Like these people, They gave me the whole basement in their house. And you know, my apartment wasn't as big as this basement. Back home, where I'm coming from, everything was so tiny that when these people gave me the whole basement to myself, I thought like I'm in paradise. I'm already like, I remember they showed me my bedroom and the lady told me she bought me a new bedding. And I couldn't understand. I'm just a nanny. You know, like we come from that culture. We come from the culture that everybody treats you like a dirt. You know, like everybody treats you like dirt. Like, you know, even your own parents sometimes. Like my mom was mean to me sometimes. You know, I should admit a lot of insecurities I have in life is because my mom sometimes did like bad things to me. But anyways, I still miss her, but it's a different story. But what I'm saying here, when you come, people meet you with the open arms, and I was culturally shocked because here I am, 26-year-old nanny. I'm so naive and stupid. I probably had the mind of 16 years old, because when they see this new bedding, this new comforter, and she says, oh, she bought me a new one, she hopes I like the color. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've never in my life had a bed like that, you know, with a real mattress, with the bed, with a freaking new comforter. And I still remember, like, this comforter still is, you know, like in my mind, because I've never seen something beautiful like that. I was thinking to myself, I'm coming to a freaking luxury hotel to live. Like, so first like couple of months were rough, because they would tell me, they thought I'm very strange, like telling kids cuckoo, when cuckoo means like insane here. But because in Russian language, cuckoo means like when you play peekaboo, you say cuckoo. And they kept telling me that was hilarious, because the first thing I would play with their kids is cuckoo, you know, and they say, no, my kids are not cuckoo. you probably mean peekaboo. So it was so funny that they used to say cuckoo. Anyways, they treat me really good. They asked me what I want to eat. They set up a dinner for me, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, like these people, why do they treat me so well? You know, I expected these people gonna just give me orders and I'm gonna just bringing them tea and like wiping the diapers. No, they were treating me like a part of family. They were giving me gifts, buy me clothes, like very nice people, very nice people. But anyways, that was a year, and I had to be nanny. Of course, to tell you the truth, just to confess, in 2003, when I came here, I had no strings attached. I had no boyfriends. I was a young 26 years old. I wanted to experience the culture, and I couldn't drive a car. Can you imagine? I couldn't pass the that was so sad. They take me to the drive, like I read the driving manual, everything. They take me to the DMV to take my test. So I passed the theory, no problem there. But when I take a driving test, I can't pass. So they told me, it's going to be too expensive to add you to our insurance. Back in the day, I don't understand these things. Now I understand, because my daughter will be driving next year, and I'm not looking forward to that. If she's driving and I have to put her in my insurance plan, that's going to be expensive, man. And we know that. And we I can't wrap around my mind about the thing that my daughter will be driving at 15. So here you have 26-year-olds who cannot drive. Back at home, I bought my, oh my gosh, that's another thing you should hear about this. Back at home, you could bribe people and buy a driver's license. So I bought my driver's license. I should confess, it sounds really bad. It sounds really bad. I know for some people and from the States, if you're watching me, Moldova was such a corrupted place. You can bribe anybody. I passed the driving test and I have no idea how. I could barely drive. Yes, you can hear me, Julia. Back in the day, we didn't grow with driving skills. Not many women drive to begin with. No, the woman driver would be like, would be hated, would be criticized, would be like, we would be called monkeys on the road. I remember my aunt, she drove and she was so cool. Like back in the day, a woman who drove was so cool. But anyway, so I couldn't drive. So the host family told me, no, you're not going to be driving. Don't worry about it. We're not going to trust you our kids to drive. They're still little. They don't go to daycare. They stay at home all day. So I would drive them in a stroller. I would push them in a stroller all the time. Anyways, I stayed in that family and I loved them, and I moved with them to a bigger house, and they gave me even a bigger space like for my basement. Oh my gosh, that year, and living in a nice big house and going on the family events, and they were giving me gifts, you know, like I remember that the lady, my host mom, she had her mom, she was Iranian, beautiful Persian parties. Oh my gosh, they would take me to Persian parties. That's the best parties ever. So the mom would buy me my first sweater, Calvin, no, not Calvin Klein. I think tell me, who was Ann Taylor? No, not the Ann Taylor. There is another Ann something. But I still have that sweater. I still have it, and I always think if I lose another 5 pounds, no, maybe if I lose another 10 pounds, I can wear that sweater, because I kept it. It was my first. She gave me before Christmas. You know, it's a red sweater. It's so gorgeous. Anne Klein. Was it the lady Anne Klein? Yes, Anne Klein. She bought it in dealers for me. And she also gave me a dress. It was blue dress. Sometimes I'll show you. It's from 2003. My size was 2 back then. Oh my gosh, people. Size 2, from size 2 to size 10. How did they do that? From size 2 to size 10. That's crazy. Anyways, these people were so nice to me. They were giving good gifts, beautiful gifts. They treat me as a part of the family, and I took care of their kids. To tell you the truth, when my kids came along, I never took such a good care of my kids. I was like, whatever. But when they took care of somebody else's kids, when I was au pair, they kept me schedule, cleanless, like everything was like, the kids were never sick. While I was there for a year, they were never sick. Knock the wood. They were never sick. They even never had a cold, you know, because I stayed home with them, and we had a great hygiene, and I fed them cooked food. The baby was little. The baby was 3 months. Anyways, it was a great experience, an au pair. It prepared me for this culture. It prepared me how things work, what is the dynamic of the family, how people, you know, like how men are involved. Like the thing that was, I've never seen before from where I'm from, that the man was involved with the kids. Like the man literally cleaned the diapers, put kids to bed, took kids like outside, took kids to places, like the man, the dad, you know. So for me at 26, it was like, wow, the dads take care of the kids here, the babies. For me, it was unheard of, but that was how it is. And my family never abused me. They never asked me to work after hours. So I only worked till 5, and I was able to go to college twice a week. Julia, tell me if you went to college. If you, did they pay for your school? They paid for my 2 classes. So I took my accounting classes, and I was able to transfer those classes when I came back in 2006 to go to college here. So anyways, this au pair experience, I can tell you stories and stories and stories. But I told you, can I see you in a jacket? Melissa, again. Good for you, but during the au pair program, they only paid $500 for 2 classes. And I was able to take 2 classes in the community college in Kansas City. And I'm glad I took accounting 1. So when I came here to be a student at the local Valencia College in Florida, I was able to transfer those. And I needed to take like accounting 2, not accounting 1. So that helped me a lot to save like a lot of money. Because classes here, when I took classes here, I was an international student, but when I was an au pair, I paid resident tuition at the local community college. But anyways, this was a great experience as au pair. But I told you, I probably, and I only in 2003, I thought I'm going to tell you all my story up until now, but no, I'll probably take another 2 or 5 streams to talk about the rest of my career, because things are getting more interesting. I wasn't an au pair. I didn't hear about this program. Oh, okay. But you probably told me about 1997, how it was hard to get the visa. Okay, you probably had the student visa. That's why. Yeah, that was a big jackpot getting a visa to begin with, to come here as a non-immigrant without immigration intentions, and down the road, you know, it's like how life. But anyways, I started to say I was au pair and I was dating some guys. But how can you date guys when you don't have a freaking car, you know? Anyways, I was hoping that I'm gonna meet somewhere within that year and I don't need to go back, of course. Stupid, you know, stupid, you know, but still I still had my hopes. So I met this German girl. I love her. If she ever watches my videos, Basha, I love you so much. I miss you every day. I'm so happy to reconnect with you on Facebook. That's Basha, my friend from Barbara, my friend. Barbara is my friend from Germany. So she could drive the car and she had a big car. I was lucky. I was in New York, didn't need a car. Oh, right. In Kansas City, nope, that's not the case. You live in the suburb, to get somewhere that there is like party or something, you need to drive 45 minutes. So I have Barbara. I met Barbara through au pair meeting. Every month you go to au pair meeting and you meet all the girls from other countries and you can hang out. They take you to the mall, they take you for some activities. Went to like haunted house for Halloween. But anyways, I met Basha, and Barbara was my age. She was exactly my age. She was very mature, like she could drive a car, and she lived in a fancy house downtown with the millionaires. Oh my gosh, I love to stay in Basha place. So she would come and pick me up at 5, oh my gosh, 8:30. I have to pick up my kid. She's still in theater. They're running the late show at 7. So I have to pick her up. That's why I didn't have a drink today, because I'm picking her up. After 9:30, I'll be able to have a drink. I told my husband I need the drink so badly this week, so bad. I cried a lot this week, but I'm so happy now. Everything turned out okay. Anyway, so my friend Barbara, she's from Germany. And people from Germany, I think they're born to drive. So she would come pick me up and drive me where I need. So she come pick me up at Friday night, and the whole weekend we hang out together. And Sunday evening she brings me home. And she lived in a beautiful, like her family was so, like my family was a little strict, you know, like they don't allow me to stay later than 11. My host mom always told me, if you're in bed by 11, I come and I harass you, because she said, I want you to be fresh for my kids in the morning. Can you believe it? You have a 26-year-old nanny and you tell her not to stay later than 11? And back in the day, I didn't have computer in my room. They had a computer for the whole house, like hooked, like a big desktop computer. And they only allowed me to go on the computer till 11. What can I do? Like I want to chat with someone, or I want to, you know, hang out on the internet, but they wouldn't allow me. At 11, I have to be in bed. I considered myself regular looking, but all of a sudden everyone wants to date you. Yeah. It's interesting. I was popular. Well, we were two blondes. Imagine, like one German and one Russian. And of course everybody wants to give us attention. But you know, we got in trouble a couple of times with like some some people we met at the bar, but that's worth different story. But anyways, imagine like two blondes, young blondes, European, and we, like back in the day, of course, we smoke and we drink beer, you know, and we're outgoing. We would go to the bar just to dance. We were trying to find the place we wanted to freaking dance, and we would like dress up. We were like dressed up like dolls, you know. So we got in trouble one time because we were like going to a party and we didn't pick up the cell phone, and Barbara's host mom, they were super nice people, they trusted us, but I guess we broke the trust because we didn't answer the phones and they didn't know where we are, and they were so super scared because, you know, if something happens to us, it's a big problem for the families. But anyways, we showed up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they had like really strict talk with us, and they explained to us that we, you know, we're adults, we're fine to go parties, we're fine to do anything like drinking or whatever we like. Of course they would kick us out if we, you know, mess up, we get in trouble like with the police or something. But they told us that we need to pick our phone because we need to let them know if we're okay, and they don't care if we party until 5 a.m. So we got in trouble like that, and we tried to be, but yes, we were very popular. And I had two guys that were interested in me, and I wasn't interested that much. No, three guys, and one guy who actually was really interested because he took time to teach me. He was a truck driver, he was an American truck driver, and he decided to teach me how to drive the car. And let me tell you, after being taught by a truck driver, oh my gosh, that's so funny, stressful. And two guys were lawyers. Two guys were young lawyers, and one guy was like, I liked him, but he was like, he was taking things too slow. But another guy, so I kind of like, whatever, I don't have time for that. Because, you know, I'm only here for the year. I needed to, you know, like, I needed to, serious, something like, well, and the second guy who was a lawyer, he would come all the way driving for an hour to pick me up for a date, go for a date for like an hour, and then drop me back home. So the 1 hour date took three hours for him. But anyways, he was a really nice guy. I still keep with him on Facebook, and he was serious about me, but I wasn't serious about him. So I told him that with him I cannot be romantically involved, but we can be friends. But you know, like taking me on those expensive dates to the steakhouse without like being romantically involved, he was not stupid, you know. So it's okay. I'm still friends with him on Facebook. I really liked him. I really kept in touch all these years, and he married a lady who's a lawyer too, and they like fans travel and they travel and everything. So I can, yeah. Anyways, and later on, before I was trying to go back to Moldova, I had a big story that happened to me in Chicago. So that was a heartbreak, because I thought that might work out with that guy. So I pretty much had, I probably had 1, 2, 3 not serious boyfriends within a year, and one serious boyfriend that I tried to come back, and it didn't work out. So not lucky. I was, yeah, it was fun feeling. I was popular. Preppy, oh my gosh, what, Preppy, hi, what is, oh my gosh, what was so bad about it? The 26-year-old living in the United States for the whole year, having 3 boyfriends. What was so bad about it? And I didn't say anything about like having a relationship. I just said boyfriend. So who knows? I wasn't romantically involved with everybody. I just had them as boyfriends to go out, to hang out, to have fun. Anyways, so nothing wrong with that. The preppy, somebody said, oh my gosh, I don't know which part is, oh my gosh. But anyways, it was nice time, because now I think that rounded me up as a person. It gave me opportunity to see other culture. It gave me opportunity to experience a single life. It gave me the opportunity to see young people interacting. Back in 2003, it wasn't much. You go to the bar, the people, like, they don't dance. Like, Kansas City is boring. They don't have discoteca. They don't have discotheque here. So me and Barbara, we always wanted to go dance, just listen to the music, dance, have drinks, smoke, or whatever. Good times, good times. Sometimes when Barbara calls me, we call each other on Facebook, we're like, Basha, we had so many stories to tell. It was so fun, and she had a boyfriend too, and we had a lot of good memories. We were like young and independent, and we just that was age when you were like not too young, and at the same time, you know, New York had awesome clubs like that. Yes, and we were so bored because Kansas City was so boring. And even there we could find some entertainment. We went to the skating rink, we went to shows, we went to concerts. We went to, it wasn't per se club, it was more like a bar where people drinking and dance a little bit. So, but we went to somebody's house parties. Like we knew some people, they would take us to parties. It was funny because they invited us for the New Year's party, and I haven't eaten all day long, and I thought, well, I come there, they have salads. Guess what? It was the worst New Year's party ever, because what people do, they just have booze and they have chips and salsa, and they just have booze. So that was the worst party. That my boyfriend at the time, he said, do you want me to go get some McDonald's for you? I say, nope, I'm not gonna eat McDonald's for New Year's. And I call all my relatives and all my friends in the States, and they say, oh yeah, we have shuba, we have Olivier, we have all our mayonnaise salads, and we have like this and that. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, no, we have just booze, and I'm so hungry and I'm so mad, and I'm eating chips and salsa. So 2004 New Year's was the worst New Year celebration I ever had in my life, because I was not happy. And who can drink if you don't eat? So I didn't even drink because I was so scared that I'm gonna get intoxicated, and I was very responsible, so I didn't drink. And there were like 6 people. We were so poor that we were like 6 people, 3 boys and 3 girls, and we stayed in one room that only had like 2 beds, so that was awful. Like, anyways, we just needed to spend the night after the party, and then we drove home the next day, so nobody driving drunk. So we did, yeah, we were very responsible, and our boyfriends were responsible too. So there wasn't trouble, but it was a fun memory. So being a nanny, what was the problem? What was the problem being a nanny? One time I got busted for staying on the internet after 11. Another time I got busted for not, like, we were in trouble because we were in a party. But how did I do my job? How good of a nanny I was? I never got in trouble. And the third time I got in trouble with my host mom, when I spent a little too more time talking to someone after school, after my class, and my class ended very late at night in the college at 9. So my host dad, who comes to pick me up after college, he waited for me 15 minutes. And she said, it's absolutely not acceptable that you take away my husband to be your driver, and he's sitting there in the car, not at 9, at 9:15, waiting for you after college. And she told me that if it's gonna happen one more time, yes, I couldn't be on the internet after 11. She would come and she would just tell me, go to bed, or like she would check if I'm not in bed, and she would just tell me, yeah. She wanted to be like, have a good sleep for her kids, to be fresh and not tired in the morning, because she said if you, yeah. And I was, I always played by the rules. It's like jail. Yeah, it was pretty much like jail, but she didn't know all the stuff I did, on the weekends. So, okay. She would ask me, why your clothes smell so bad? Like smoke. I said, have you been to the bar? This bar smells like smoke because people smoked in the bar. Now I remember people smoked in the bar. Do you remember in 2002, 2003, people smoke in New York in the clubs, inside the clubs or outside? I think that some bars people were allowed to smoke too here. Yeah, I think it was like that. People were allowed to smoke in the restaurants. I think it was like that at some time. So yeah, all the time. Yeah. So she would ask me, why your clothes smell so bad? I'm like, lady, I've been to bars. What I can do? It smells bad. So she said, if I ever see you smoking, it's disgusting. You're going back home. I'm like, yeah, true. And I would never tell her that, like, chill, lady, chill. Let me know. I'm not smoking, like, let me go. And of course I would be very, like, wash my clothes and everything, but smoking in the restaurant was normal, not only bars. Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, even in 2003. Yeah, probably. But anyway, she was a doctor. She was a family physician, the lady, the host mom. Oh, and she was Iranian. She was from Iranian culture, so she was more conservative than other American ladies, and she hated smoking on any level. So she would sometimes, like, bust me when I come home late, and she said, why your clothes smell so bad? I'm like, lady, I've been to the bars. What I can do? My clothes smell. But I did smoke, of course. Didn't tell her. But anyways, you could get back for any like bad stupid reason. So I only had like few arguments with her. So that was about her husband waiting me after college. It was about like that other host mom, she never told. Yeah, I smoke too. Yeah, that was bad. I'm glad my teeth are not that bad, because I only smoke like on the weekends, like, or socially, or when you drink, or when you're some. I didn't smoke every day, and I didn't have that habit. It actually, I was lucky because I never had cravings. I never wanted to smoke. I only wanted to be, social, like a social process, like of, I don't know. I felt like it was something. It was, it was a part of decompressing. Smoking was a part of kind of like decompressing at the end of the week, or just being social. Anyways, so I didn't have major problems with my host family. They loved me, they adored me. And then the next girl who came after me, I had to teach her for the last month when she was there and I was leaving. I had to teach her, tell her like, what is this family? And she was from Slovakia, from somewhere else, so I couldn't speak the language, but they had cigarettes vending machines. Yes, it was, oh my gosh, I remember, $5, I remember, and me and Barbara, we would share, and we would buy, like, the weekend, $5, yeah, vending machines. Can you believe that? Oh my gosh, I remember the vending machines. Thank you for telling me about vending machines. $5, it was still expensive, I think. Hello from New Jersey. Sounds like so many rules. Yeah. So she had a lot of rules, but imagine 26-year-old single girl coming to the United States. What can I do? Of course I want to party. I want to meet people. I want to meet boyfriends. But now I think it's okay. It was so many rules, but they treat me well. I lived in a nice neighborhood. I lived with the nice people. She was a doctor, and she actually was the doctor. Yeah, she was the doctor of like a family medicine. So she would tell me if I don't feel well, she would, I don't need to go to the doctor. She would bring me whatever I need for, if I had a fever or something. If I have a simple cold, she'll take care of me. She'll always like listen to my lungs, or like if I only probably was sick once or whatever. But anyway, it was a good family. Good family. Nice area, nice neighborhood. Everything was nice. They take me to their family to celebrate holidays. So I kind of, when you come here and you want to please people just to stay in the country and have this sort of experience, you have to comply with the rules. And to tell you the truth, I don't know how I would handle a living nanny of that age in my house. I would probably go nuts, so I cannot handle sometimes my own dad. I love him to pieces. He helps me so much, but sometimes I can get along with him very well. Sometimes we have argument, or we don't understand each other. And imagine like to have a foreigner in your house, or like how she felt that her husband waiting for me outside of the college. Now I understand her. Back in the day, I had no clue what her deal was, but now I understand. Still sound like slavery. Yes, it is, because you only make $130. You only make $130 a week. Can you imagine $130 a week for nanny, and they pay for your plane ticket, So for them it was $12,000 a year for 2 kids. But guess what? Now it's like $1,000 per kid in a daycare, so don't ask. And I don't hold grudges. The only thing I wasn't happy with my host family. Oh my gosh, we're here 1:42. Okay, I promise in 15 minutes we're done. So imagine, I cleaned out their house. They paid me $70 for the huge house, three-story house, like basement and 2 stories. So $70. It took me the whole day, 7 or 8 hours to clean the house, and they paid me $70, and I was the happiest camper because I didn't spend my money. They feed me, they buy me clothes, they buy me toiletries, everything. So they paid me $70, but back in the day they paid the cleaning ladies $70. So why would they pay me more? So I would clean the house and I would be happy, and at the end of the day I didn't complain. I didn't know better life. So when you come from there and you don't know better life, you think everything here is like wow. And now you understand you cannot survive on what they pay, so that's why you didn't live a real life. You didn't pay any bills, you didn't pay rent, you didn't pay groceries, you didn't pay for anything. So I only had play money. And to tell you the truth, I spent my money because me and Barbara, we traveled. We went to Chicago a couple of times. We went, we spent our money on clothes. I had a big debt. I don't know. Did I? No, I think I have a little bit of debt. I had to give my debt back. I don't know why I had that. Anyways, I had my first credit card open in Victoria's Secret. Oh my gosh, I was so happy. I had like $150 from Victoria's Secret, and I was like, no, $1,000. They gave me $1,000 from Victoria's Secret, and I say, I'll never buy $1,000 worth of whatever lingerie. But it was funny. It was first year, and I remember this year with a great experience. So I don't hold grudges. The only thing what happened afterwards, when I came to be in college, I asked these people to sign the affidavit of financial support, and they said no. So I stopped talking to them because they were greatly offended. I said that was not. I was asking for money. I was just asking for a formal paperwork for college because somebody needed to provide the document that I will be able to support myself being an international student. And they had the means, they had to provide a bank statement with like $10,000 at least in their savings account to be a sponsor for me. But they said they ran it through their attorney, and they were told that's a legal paper and they can ask them for that money later. So that's why they trust me with their kids, but they didn't trust me with that paper. So I got so offended and I got so upset with them that I stopped talking to them in 2006, and I never talked to them again. I think I talked to the lady once or twice on the phone after I got here. Probably in 2007 maybe 2008. I only talked one time or something over the phone. I don't even remember the reason I talked to her, but anyways, I don't hold grudges. Now I'm like fine. They're just a part of my cultural experience. My first year being in the United States, there were a lot of good things, good family things, and very beautiful, very nice kids, like pretty much a healthy family, nobody was abusive. I guess the wife was a boss in the family, and the guy was like, whatever, подкаблучник. But anyways, I have no regrets. That was a great experience for me as a person. I was a nanny. I knew how to raise up kids from the very early age and how to deal with household duties. And true, they were a stepping stone to your life. Yes. And they introduced me to family gatherings. They showed me the culture from inside, how people should treat each other, how they, like, families love each other, how they get along. Like, her side of the family was Persian, like Iranian people who ran away in the 70s or whatever under the revolution. And his family was totally American from Iowa, like rednecks, So you see both cultures and how people made out. Like, kids were successful, parents were super nice, like old parents, they were still couples, and they took care of their grandkids. They loved dearly their, grandkids. It was such a good dynamic to see, because what we saw in Moldova, we saw those like nasty, poor, broken families, alcoholics, kids without dads, those desperate working mothers. And here I saw a pure American dream, like pure American dream, how people get along, how people from like Iran, they both gave their daughter education to become a doctor. It's just amazing stories, and being around successful, nice people gave me that optimism, gave me that good vibe that United States is really the country of great opportunities. So it was great experience.
Не включается тут у меня.
5 минут.
Ты включишь?
Включу. Да, я включу, пап, спасибо. У папы не включается что-то. I'm sorry, guys. My dad, he needed me. Something is not turning on and he wants me to go and turn it on. The sprinkler system or something. I told him he needs to do it at 9, but he... Anyways, I'll go in 5 minutes. I'll go help him. So it was a great experience. So I had to go back. Unfortunately, in 2004, it was a great drama going back, and I'll probably need to finish for today because what happened after my experience in the United States, that was very that again shaped me up as a person and made me who I am, made me follow my dreams and follow my goals. And even broken heart back in the day, even broken heart, like I would say broken heart from anything, from going from here back home, broken heart from not having a good job, broken heart from relationships. It shaped me up. It gave me the idea that I pull through. I have to follow my dreams and follow my goals. And it helped me to realize that if you lay down and cry, nobody gonna help you. Nobody gonna come and bring you everything on a plate. You have to get off your butt and keep moving, keep like swimming, keep doing like setting up like step by step necessary things to pull through. And I was fortunate enough that I always met good people, and I kept good relationship with random people, random families, random friends who at the end of the day would give me a resource, like information or a contact, or like talk to me about some opportunities. So I was always very social, and I never burned bridges with people. Well, except with this American family because they didn't want to sign my paper. But like through all my life, I had very good connections. My sister's friends, like people from the embassy, people from anywhere, like my neighbors, like people I met here, like through Au Pair program. I always had this good relationship with people who at the end of the day somehow could give me a support or like a resource or something like even be there for me when I'm in my like down times, or I'm like not in a good mood or whatever. So it's important to meet good people in your life. It's important to be social, have social skills, and keep in touch. And like even a simple hello, or even simple phone call, or simple happy birthday, or just send them a card about like for like a greeting card for the holiday. Just keep in touch with people. Just make an effort to remember good deeds and pay them back, and be there for them if they need help too. So
Я понял.
еще рано.
Там много машин будет, не подъехать нельзя.
Окей.
Включишь воду.
Хорошо, пап. I'm sorry, my dad. Okay, thank you for being with me. It's 1 hour 52. It just all these memories come back, and I think it was a good year, because I think when I came here to be a student 2 years later, I came back home in 2004. It was 2 years, Papa волнуйся. Да. Papa волнуйся. My dad still have that, like I'm 47-year-old. He lives under my roof. I love my dad to pieces, but he still has this, he is, but he still has this impression that he's my boss, like he has authority because I'm still his little girl, and he gives me directions. He keeps telling me what I need to do and how I need to do certain things, and I'm like, Dad, I'm I'm 47. Leave me alone. I'm capable. But anyways, I'm glad to have him. It's a blessing. I love my dad to pieces. He's just too serious sometimes. And like when I see him, I'm getting serious too. But you know, I always tell him I'm more American than any other culture in me, because you know, like if I be serious like that, people not gonna like me that much, you know, because I'm not like that anymore. Anyways, so I had to come back in 2004, and that was a tough time to go back from this culture and live back in Moldova for 2 years before I came back in 2006 to be a student. And I'm so happy that in 2004, when I was out there, I had that experience of just living easy life, because when I came back to be here a student in 2006, my life changed like 180 degrees. Like it changed from like being easy, independent, like having fun, experiencing the culture, not worrying about the bills. It changed like 180% to being responsible, being in school, working 8 hours, after school, studying, trying to stay here legally, and all this like real American life from the very beginning, from the tough jobs and from not making enough money for paying for my own college. You know, I'm so lucky, and I'm so glad that it turned like it turned, because I never went in debt. I never had to pay for my college like more than I paid with my job. So I never had the student loans. I'm going back to Moldova. Yes, yes. It was tough to go back to Moldova, but I didn't plan to be here for like that long, and that was a wonderful stream, because it let it, like, the good memories like make me happy. The good memories make me happy, and I kind of like think all my experiences as a young woman versus like now middle-aged woman. And I think it's important to remember those experiences, because at the end of the day, you understand why you're like that now, why you're successful, why you're happy, why you're free, why you're open-minded. I think back in the day, you didn't realize that down the road this experience is going to be all good. Even rough experience is going to be good for you. You didn't understand that in the moment, but now I understand why I am who I am. It's like because my life were fallen in place on a certain time, on a certain timeline, and I did everything. I kind of did everything on time, you know. I didn't go to school when I was 40. I went to school before I had my kids, so I had nightmares of going back. Yeah. I had nightmares of going back too, so many times, even now after I received my citizenship. Sometimes I wake up and I'm always thinking my nightmares about going to Moldova and getting stuck there. All of a sudden I see dreams I'm in Moldova and don't have my visa to go back, or something is wrong, or my passport is wrong or something, and I can't go back. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I need to go back. My job is waiting for me. My kids are there, you know. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm home. I'm here. I'm in the States. I have nothing to worry about. And I've never been home since 2006. So I've been here 17 years and I've never went back. So it's another story. I'm gonna go back eventually, but I'm just not ready for some reason. All these years I didn't want to go back. But anyways, now I kind of start to feel it. I need to see my mom's grave and everything. I need to see my aunt, and I need to see my friends I haven't seen in 17 years, but I keep in touch and I love them dearly, and I talk to them often, and I know their kids and stuff. Doing this year because it is dangerous to go. Yeah, I hear you, but that's devastating to go there and get stuck for some stupid reason. That could be a nightmare. I understand why people don't go there. I wouldn't go to Russia or Belarus. I wouldn't, but Moldova is so much more, I would say, hopefully with European Union. we have embassy, and I always say, oh my gosh, if anything, I go to American embassy and I lock myself there. It's gonna be my safe place. Anyways, I've been here 2 hours today. Thank you for being with me. I really appreciate you listening to my stories. Next time I'll tell you what was the rough time going back to Moldova and how I managed to get back. So stay tuned. There are going to be more fun stories, more good stories, and like rough stories. Moldova is safer. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Julia, for being with me, watching me, and following my channel. I think I let everything out, and I think that YouTube is my let out just to take my, you know, head off like everyday routines, like schedules, rough times, and today I was able to do it because my kid is in the theater and my husband took my other kid to the soccer game. And tomorrow as a family we're going to escape room. I booked an escape room. It was like 6 out of 10 difficulty, but everybody is excited because it's first time we're gonna go, 4 of us as a family, to the escape room. And a couple of weeks ago I went with my friends and they gave me a coupon for 15% off. So I was so excited to book something with a discount that I told my husband, let's go, let's play, let's have fun, let's take our kids there. So I'm going to tell you about the escape room next time. Thank you for being with me. Have fun tomorrow and good night. Thank you for being with me. Good night. Have a good weekend. I love you all. Kate B was here with you. Listen more to my stories and watch my shorts and videos and support my channel. Love you. Love you. Bye-bye. Good night.